Thank you, Chairman. I got here a little bit late. I don't want to have you repeat a lot of things you've already discussed, and I may have some questions for the record, but two things that relate specifically to conversations I'm having with people in Missouri. One, General Odierno, is we're talking to General Danner at the National Guard. The cyber unit that they have is really linking up consistently with critical infrastructure, and in virtually every case is somebody in the National Guard cyber unit that then goes to work at their other job, and they work in IT. And I've been talking to General Alexander some about what we could do with Cyber Command to take more advantage of people who are out there in the every day being paid by somebody else to keep up to date on IT. And I think one of the estimates is we're maybe 8,000 people short of where we need to be, and how do we get those people? But I wonder if you have any thoughts about that.
I do. We are moving. General Alexander now has provided the services, the capabilities he thinks he needs to execute our cyber strategy at the national level. The Army also has requirements at the operational and tactical level. We are building a structure that will take advantage. It'll be a combination structure that will be in the active and the National Guard and U.S. Army Reserve structure that will mirror each other, which will give us significant capability to support General Alexander at the national level and also help us at the operational tactical, because we want to take advantage of exactly what you just said, Senator. We think the National Guard and the Army Reserve can provide us a significant capability here and faster than we probably can in recruiting people to come on the active duty or Department of the Army civilian. So we are in the process of putting together our organization. We're going to lay out an extensive plan, and I guarantee you will see a plan where the National Guard and U.S. Army Reserve mirror and we leverage the unique qualities and capabilities that they can bring as we support General Alexander's plan from a national perspective, but also the Army plans for operational and tactical cyber operations in the future. I think
it's a place where the private sector synergy is incredibly beneficial. I mean, years ago, when I was the Secretary of State in Missouri, the Securities Commissioner worked for me. So we regulated the securities industry at the state level, and my view always was, no matter who I hired, that was an area that was changing so quickly that 6 months later they probably weren't quite as good as the day I brought them in, unless we constantly interacted with people out there. And here you've got a chance to do so much of that.
One of the things that we're training and doctrine are looking at, what we call the DOTLPF, which is looking at everything to do with cyber. And one of the things is our training capabilities, and do we make it a specific now specialty in the Army? And so if we go about doing that, it's to get at exactly what you're talking about, so we keep people up to date on the latest technologies, latest capabilities. So we are focused on that, and I expect that we're going to come out in the next 3 to 4 months with a full strategy on how we're going to execute this. We are obviously doing some things now. We have some capability in the National Guard. We have some capability in the active component, but we're going to come out with an extensive plan on how we're going to lay this out throughout the force.
And Secretary McHugh, I had about 20 people in my office yesterday from Fort Leonard Wood who were really pleased that you were there just a few days ago, and they were some of the people that you spent time with while you were there. And obviously everybody is concerned about impact on their community and bases, and you know, in a fort like that that's surrounded largely by national forest, and which is a good thing in terms of training opportunities, but it means that the economy of the impact on the economy of an installation like that is greater than it might be if it was in a more urban commercial area, and they're concerned about that. And then both that and proportionality are a couple of the things I hope you're looking at as you look at the difficult task you have in front of you.
Well, the folks both inside the gate and outside the gate were just great to us, and I felt right at home because, as you know, Senator, I come from a highly rural part of America as well, and it reminded me a lot of home, so it was a great visit. The thing that really impressed me was, as you and I have discussed in the past, the range of training that occurs there, and we've talked a lot about you know, young soldiers coming in and older soldiers getting better, but you've got the MP school there, you've got Sapper, you've got all kinds of great activities that I think will always be an important part of the Army. We've made considerable investments in that facility. You know, those are the kinds of things, as you noted, make these hard decisions, we'll consider very, very carefully. You know, we're working through these determinations, and probably will have some decisions to announce within a month or so. But I think everyone should be aware, given the breadth of what we're required to do because of the Budget Control Act, let alone sequestration, but simply because of the Budget Control Act, virtually every post, camp, and station will feel some impact. So our job is to make the best possible decisions, both for the Army, of course, and the taxpayer, but also for those bases that, you know, have stood tall and done great things, of which Leonard Wood is certainly one.
Right. Well, I recognize the challenge of the timing here, but our job, the job that Chairman is going to lead us through, is probably benefited by knowing as much as we can about the directions we're headed before we begin to allocate resources in this appropriations effort. And I don't envy you the job you have to do or the job we have to do, but it's something we're going to have to deal with.